So how long does it actually take to completely train a dog? As you know, I've actually trained a dog very recently, and I have some very real firsthand data about this very important question that I'm gonna share with you today. I'm Zach George. I train dogs. This is my new dog, and I'm gonna show you how I trained her from day one. Things definitely won't always go smoothly. You can start from the beginning, or you can pick up anywhere. Subscribe and hit the bell notification so you never miss an episode. When you put into motion an approach based on love and respect, your results will forever remain in motion. This is Inertia. Welcome to the dog training experience. Have you ever thought about what it means for a dog to be completely trained? I mean, think about that for a second. Making sure your dog is healthy sets them up to reach their full training potential. Funny, Inertia. If I ever get her completely trained, I'll let you know when she's done. It should go without saying, but we all want to feed our dogs something great, and we want to know what we're feeding them is the highest quality possible. For those of you that feed your dogs dry dog food, Solid Gold is one of the best brands of dog food out there. I've never seen another food with an ingredient list quite like Solid Gold's. I mean, they've got things like blueberries, kelp, broccoli. There are 20 superfoods like this in every bag. Solid Gold makes a variety of high quality foods and some really awesome supplements like human grade bone broth and sea meal. Save 30% on select Solid Gold products by going to my special link, solidgoldpet.com/Zach. I'll have that link in the description. Now, if you've never trained your dog before, you're probably wondering, how long does it actually take to train them? This can be kind of a tricky question though, because don't we all have our own individual definition of what it means to have a trained dog? Maybe to you, a trained dog is one that just doesn't have potty accidents in the house, but others might require their dog to be highly reliable, off leash, in lots of different circumstances before they're considered trained. I think what most people, though, would consider a trained dog, for all practical purposes, is a dog that knows how to reliably stay and calm even when there are distractions around them, and generally listens and behaves appropriately inside the house and out. My sense, though, right now is that Inertia is arriving at that point where the average person might consider her a trained dog, though there's still a lot of stuff we're working on. And that really is the primary thing that we set out to do with this series, right? To show you in minute detail how I trained Inertia to this point. Inertia, come. Like getting her to stop barking at the door. Way to be on cue, Inertia. Come. Wanted to get to her before she started barking. For example, we recently did a potty training highlight video, and we discovered that it took about 4.5 weeks before Inertia was 95% reliable on potty training. Potty training can take several weeks, but in the meantime, while you're potty training your dog, you'll also want to focus on two main things simultaneously. One, building general communication with your dog, teaching them basic skills like sit, down, stay, come. And number two, preventing unwanted behaviors like chewing and jumping and play biting from getting traction. With puppy biting, which is one of the most obnoxious puppy behaviors, I was able to get that under control in just 6 weeks. And I found that this is where a lot of people really start to become content. That is when their dog stops those unwanted behaviors and listens to basic requests in a controlled environment. Around 5 to 6 months of age is where you really start to see the light bulb go off with your dog. And you start to see that they're beginning to understand you and comply a lot more, at least in controlled settings. But even though your dog is starting to do well, in all likelihood, training has just begun. But be careful about getting complacent when you start to see this initial success from your dog. I mean, it's one thing for your dog to generally show you that they know things like sit, down, and come, but all dogs need extensive experience in a multitude of scenarios before they generalize those skills in the many ways that we expect them to. So I want to draw a clear distinction between a dog showing that they understand something in specific contexts and a dog that can perform those skills in most contexts. There is a huge difference between those two things. For example, if a dog comes to you every time you practice inside the house, but they fail to come to you reliably in more distracting circumstances, then you still have a lot of work to do. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that your dog is going to be good everywhere because they've demonstrated that they'll do something in a limited instance. In my experience, it takes a good couple of years for a dog to really calibrate to this world and be able to generally act in a way that we would consider very well trained. And that's because we can't fast forward time, and time is exactly what you need to give your dog the life experience in a multitude of different situations. Inertia is now at the age of about 17 months, and I've only recently started any type of basic off-leash training in an uncontrolled environment with her, because now she's had ample experience with listening to me while on a long lead when faced with so many different things, like airplanes and boats, other dogs, people walking down the street or jogging, bikers biking down the road, mules in the French Quarter of New Orleans, crazy Mardi Gras parades, hailstorms on top of a mountain, and on and on. And while I do take a lot of heat for saying it takes 2 years to train a dog, I stand by that for these two very specific reasons. First, we are requiring a completely different species to adhere and assimilate to our way of life, not the other way around. We're asking way more of them than they're asking of us. Not only that, we expect them to do it in an extremely short period of time relative to, say, a person. I mean, good luck getting a 2-year-old child to stay right by your side at Disneyland. Plus, we're asking them to suppress some of their most natural and best qualities, like eagerness and curiosity and all of that athleticism. A key part of a dog adapting to our culture is resisting the urge to do things that are so natural to them, like jumping on people because they like to greet people at the face, or walking slowly next to us while attached to a leash, or not chewing on our furniture, but to chew on toys that we give them instead, or resisting the urge to bark at something they see and find very exciting. And the miracle of all of this is that dogs will actually do it, as long as we're very consistent and proactive about showing them how we want them to behave. This, of course, includes giving them lots of love and quality physical and mental exercise. I mean, they really are brilliant. And I think 2 years is a minimum amount of time to invest in building communication with your dog and heavily socializing them and letting them experience this brand new world that they live in. Of course, bad habits can still develop over time, and maintaining your training is very important as well. Our dogs will look for loopholes throughout their lives when it comes to doing things we don't want them to, like not coming when you call them, or playing keep away with their fetch toy. So you still need to do regular training sessions to keep you and your dog sharp throughout their life. The bottom line is that learning goes on forever and ever, and there's always something new we can teach our dogs. If you consistently work with your dog and do the things we cover throughout this series, realistically, 18 to 24 months is how long it generally takes to train a dog to listen in a huge variety of situations. Ultimately, you are the one who gets to decide when your dog is trained. I mean, as long as they're doing what you expect of them and you and your dog are happy with one another, then you're doing great. For those of you that have a trained dog, tell me how long it took in the comments below. And check out solidgoldpet.com/Zach. I'll have a link below to save 30% on select Solid Gold products. Subscribe to this channel and follow us on Instagram to keep up with all of our training in real time. And check out both of my books. They'll help you get your dog trained even faster. I'll have a link to these in the description too. See you guys next time.